Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to today's session of the daily quiz. Before we begin taking up the questions, an important reminder, today's session at 7:30 p.m. will be on government schemes in the ongoing Target Prelims 2023 initiative. I hope all of you have been attending all these sessions live. This will go live at 7:30 p.m. We will be discussing the most important government schemes of the last 1 year or so in the form of MCQs. This is where we are right now. We have about 4 more sessions to go. Thousands of you have been attending these sessions live every single day. Make sure you don't leave out on this for your UPSC preparation. Now let's begin with the first question. Consider the following statements with regards to LIGO project, that is Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. Number 1. The Indian LIGO would have 2 perpendicularly placed 4 km long vacuum chambers that constitute the most sensitive interferometers in the world. Second, it will be located in the Hingoli district of Maharashtra, 450 kilometers east of Mumbai. And third, LIGO in the US first detected gravitational waves in 2013, which led to the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2017. How many of these given statements are incorrect? Now, if you look at these statements very carefully, you will see the third statement actually is wrong. The LIGO waves were first detected in 2015 and not 2013, because of which the answer here becomes A. One of the statements here is wrong. The reason why we're discussing this question is that the Prime Minister is all set to lay the foundation of the LIGO project. He was supposed to do this today at the Hingoli district in Maharashtra. This also marks the 25th anniversary of the 1998 nuclear test conducted by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. LIGO, as you know, stands for Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, that is meant to detect gravitational waves. It is said to become the largest scientific facility in the entire country. The 2 existing observatories in the US detected the gravitational waves for the first time in 2015. This is what the LIGO project is all about. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements about section 144 of the CrPC. Number 1. This law empowers magistrate of any state or union territory in India to pass an order prohibiting the gathering of 4 or more people in a specified area. Second, according to the order under this section, there shall be no movement of public, but the educational institutions may remain open. Third, it doesn't empower the authorities to block internet access in the region. Which of these are incorrect? So you have to choose the incorrect ones. Now in these statements, the first one is true. Second is wrong because education institutions are also closed down. So education institutions also do not get an exception. While the third statement also is wrong because the authorities can even block internet access as well under section 144 of the CrPC. So the answer here becomes B. 2 and 3 are wrong. The first statement is true. The reason why we are discussing this question is because CrPC section 144 has been imposed in Arunachal Pradesh's capital as people have been protesting against the paper leak news coming in the Arunachal Pradesh Public Service Commission examination. A group of protesters have begun a 72-hour bandh in Itanagar, that is the capital of Arunachal Pradesh, to bring the situation under control. This is the order given by the district authorities. Next, question number 3. Which of the following best describes the phrase persona non grata? Number 1. It refers to a diplomat or foreign person whose entering or remaining in a certain country has been prohibited by that country. Second, it refers to a diplomat whose immunity has been taken away due to gross violation of a law. Third, it refers to a diplomat or a foreign person who doesn't need a visa to visit the country. Or fourth, it is a diplomat or a foreign person who acts as an ambassador of a nation in the absence of a full-time ambassador. The correct answer here is A. Persona non grata is usually referred to in diplomatic terms for a diplomat who enters the country without having the authority to enter. So even if an authority has decided that this particular diplomat shall not enter the country, even then if the diplomat enters, that diplomat would be considered as persona non grata. The reason why we're discussing this question is because of the conflict between Canada and China. A day after Canada announced that it would expel a Chinese diplomat over the Chinese diplomat's plans to intimidate a Canadian politician, China has also done the same. So China has declared that the Canadian diplomat in China would be now a persona non grata, meaning that in simple terms, China is saying that if you can dismiss our diplomat, we will do the same to your diplomat, and there is no place for your diplomat to remain officially in our country. So, persona non grata is a Latin phrase which usually means an unwelcomed person. Next, question number 4. Which of the following statements is incorrect? Number 1. The NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, is a quasi-judicial body that adjudicates issues relating to companies. Second, any person agreed by any order of NCLAT, that is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, may file an appeal to the High Court. Third, the NCLT is also the appellate tribunal for orders issued by the NCLTs under Section 61 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code and for orders passed by the Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India. Fourth, the NCLT was constituted under Section 410 of the Companies Act 2013 to hear appeals against orders of the National Company Law Tribunal. You have to choose which one of these is incorrect. The correct answer is B. The second statement is incorrect because the appeal from the decision of the appellate tribunal doesn't lie in the High Court, rather it lies in the Supreme Court. So after NCLT, you go to NCLAT. Even then, if you're not satisfied, then you can go to the Supreme Court of India. The reason why we are discussing this question and the reason why NCLT is in the news is because of the Go First company filing for bankruptcy, and LCLT is now supposed to decide the fate of the company in the coming weeks. Next is the previous year question from 2020. It's a pretty easy question. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the general difference between plant and animal cells? Number 1. Plant cells have cellulose cells walls while animal cells do not. Second, plant cells do not have plasma membrane unlike animal cells which do. Third, mature plant cells have one large vacuole while an animal cell has many small vacuoles. Which of these is correct? Now, this is a question straight out of your NCRT in class 9th and 10th. Second statement is wrong. Plant cells do have plasma membranes unlike the animal cells. First and the third are correct. Even if you have read very basic general science, you should be able to answer this question. This is given in NCRT class 10th book of science. Again, a lot of you might be thinking of skipping general science entirely. My suggestion would be at least to have a reading of the NCRTs so that if questions such as these, which are extremely basic, come in, you should be able to answer those questions. Next is the fact of the day, and today we want to discuss about the law on polygamy in different religions in India. This is in the news because the Assamese Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma has said that his state government will now ban the practice of polygamy through a law. Polygamy in simple terms means having more than one marriage at one single point of time. Now, the issue of polygamy is governed by both personal laws of specific religion and the Indian Penal Code, that is the IPC as well. For example, the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 says that this is prohibited for those who are practicing Hindus. Section 494 of the IPC penalizes bigamy or polygamy. However, there are certain rules in place for second marriages. Generally, the first wife files a complaint that her husband has remarried, and then the court looks into whether the husband has entered into a legally valid second marriage or not, and then they decide. For example, in the Kaval Ram case of 1965, the Supreme Court said that the standard proof should be given for marriage as per the customs of a certain law. Under the Hindu law, as we discussed, bigamy or polygamy has been prohibited. The Special Marriage Act of 1964 proposed a requirement of monogamy in order to get married. Apart from this, if you look at the Muslim law, marriage in Islam is governed under the Shariat Act of 1937. The personal law amongst the Muslims allows a Muslim man to have 4 wives. To benefit from this Muslim personal law, in fact, many men specifically from other religions have converted to Islam just to have more than one wife. In the famous Sarla Mudgal case of 1995, the Supreme Court said religious conversion for just the purpose of having more than one wife would be unconstitutional and it would not be allowed. As per the National Family Health Survey, there is a slight prevalence of polygamy in India. 2.1% amongst Christians, 1.9% amongst Muslims, 1.3% amongst Hindus, and an average of 1.6% amongst other religious groups. Let's see how the Assam government's decision to introduce a law turns out in terms of polygamy. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a good day ahead. Jai Hind.